Hello. My name is Linda Bowen, professor and chair for the Department of Journalism with the Mike Curb College of Arts, Media, and Communication.
And my name is Dr. Louis Rubino, professor and chair for the Department of Health Sciences from the College of Health and Human Development.
And as the narrators for the event this evening, it is our pleasure to welcome you to the 35th Annual Honors Convocation. Yeah, come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remain standing while the CSUN Jazz A Band, under the direction of Professor Matt Harris, plays the national anthem, accompanied by vocalist Christy Yoga.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets right where the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You may now be seated. The platform party is here to honor these remarkable students. Please join me in acknowledging our distinguished platform party. Distinguished platform party members, please rise as you are introduced and remain standing until the full platform has been acknowledged. I also ask that the audience holds its applause until the entire platform party and special guests have been introduced. On the second row, from right to left, Dr. Elizabeth Adams, Associate Vice President for Student Success. Dr. Michael Spagna, Dean for the Michael D. Eisner College of Education. Dr. Elizabeth Say, Dean for the College of Humanities. Dr. Daniel Hoskin, Interim Dean for the Mike Curb College of Arts, Media, and Communication. Dr. Kenneth Lloyd, Dean for the David Nazarian College of Business and Economics. Dr. Farrell Webb, Dean for the College of Health and Human Development. Dr. Stella Theladulu, Dean for the College of Social and Behavioral Sciences. Dr. S.K. Ramesh, Dean for the College of Engineering and Computer Science. Dr. Jerry Stinner, Dean for the College of Science and Mathematics. Dr. Mark Stover, Dean for the University Library and today's mace bearer.
On the first row, from right to left, Jeff Noblet, Associate Vice President for Marketing and Communications. Dr. Robert Gonzalez, Vice President for University Advancement and President of the CSUN Foundation. Hillary Baker, Vice President for Information Technology and Chief Information Officer. Dr. Adam Swenson, Faculty President. Dr. E. Lee, Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs. Dr. Diane F. Harrison, University President. Julio Cesar Ortiz, today's keynote speaker. Dr. William Watkins, Vice President for Student Affairs and Dean of Students. Dr. Chris Kachikian, Associate Vice President for Research and Graduate Studies. And Carlos Fuentes, CSUN Alumni President. Let us please recognize this year's Honors Convocation Platform Party with our applause. Also in attendance are members of our distinguished faculty, staff, and administrators whose leadership, knowledge, and guidance have played a major role in preparing and supporting the students we honor today. Will all the faculty, staff, and administrators please rise? Please join me in recognizing these outstanding members of the university community.
It is now my great pleasure to introduce our university president, Dr. Diane Harrison.
Good evening, everyone. We've been blessed this evening with some nice weather, so let's enjoy not only this moment of achievement for our students and their families and friends, and the fact that we have beautiful weather. Thank you. On behalf of the university, I'm pleased to welcome you to the California State University Northridge 2017 Honors Convocation. This ceremony marks the start of CSUN's commencement celebrations, which begin next week. One of my greatest joys and privileges as CSUN president is the opportunity to meet the many gifted men and women who make up our university's student body and our graduates. The collective achievements of the students we honor tonight symbolize CSUN's goal to help students fulfill their great potential for academic excellence and to become leaders in their professions and in their communities. On behalf of the whole CSUN community, our faculty, staff, your fellow students, and our alumni, congratulations to all of you who are being honored this evening. We are very proud to join with you and with your families and friends to recognize you, and we are grateful for the opportunity to cultivate your unique talents and gifts. We also invite you to the grand reception at the Matador Square and University Student Plaza immediately following this celebration to continue celebrating. There will be live music for you, refreshments, and photo opportunities that you really won't want to miss, so I encourage you to attend with your families. It is now my great pleasure and privilege to introduce tonight's keynote speaker. Our speaker is a CSUN alumnus, and his story seems especially inspiring and relevant at this moment in history, when the contributions of immigrants to our country and the immigrant experience have come under scrutiny and discussion. Tonight's speaker is an example of what can be achieved with hard work, personal drive, and a CSUN education. As an award-winning television reporter for KMEX 34, Univision, Los Angeles, Julio Cesar Ortiz is a well-known and respected journalist in the television broadcast community. As an undocumented high school student, he recognized the importance of a good education and doing well in school, and he has said he knew he had to work twice as hard because of the expectations of others and language barriers. He transferred to CSUN after attending Santa Barbara City College, where he earned 2 associate degrees in communications and in liberal arts. At CSUN, he flourished. He made his mark as a leader and a trailblazer, founding the first ever 30-minute weekly Spanish newscast in the California State University system. After graduation, he focused on becoming a television broadcast journalist, serving the Spanish-speaking community. He's been a television reporter with the Univision television group for the past 16 years, which includes 5.5 years as a reporter for Univision in Arizona, where he reported from the border before moving to KMEX 34, Univision, Los Angeles. His news stories and his involvement with the immigrant community have been recognized at the local, state, and national levels. He has won 19 Emmys for his work out of 38 nominations. And for 2 consecutive years, he received the Edward R. Murrow Regional Award for Best Writer, a groundbreaking achievement for a Spanish language reporter. He was the first Mexican immigrant journalist to receive 2 consecutive Associated Press Awards for Writer of the Year in the Western United States, and his stories have taken him from Los Angeles to Phoenix, the towns on the US-Mexico border, and into Mexico to report on the impact of immigration on families and communities in that country. Julio Cesar's work and reporting shows that he remains connected to his roots and is committed to giving back. Since 2013, he has been a lecturer faculty member in our journalism department, where he has taught classes on broadcast and Spanish language television reporting, serving as a teacher, role model, and mentor for a new generation of socially aware journalists. In addition, inspired by the social and economic challenges faced by immigrant communities, he received a master's degree in marriage and family therapy from USC, focusing on mental disorders as a consequence of acculturation and migration within the Hispanic community. With this additional training, he plans to create new segments that highlight mental health to connect the Hispanic community to mental health services. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Julio Cesar Ortiz.
Thank you, President, faculty, dear fellow Matadors. There's no better judge than time to place a value and impact of our actions. For what we do today defines our legacy of tomorrow. And today, which is the beginning of the rest of our lives and the rest of your lives, your first step on this path we call life, it is a step that leaves a footprint of honor. So I congratulate each of you. Honor not just in the academic achievements that we are acknowledging today, but honor found in the sacrifices, struggles, challenges, and commitments you went through to stand before us today and celebrate your honors convocation. Regardless of your background, your economic status, culture, gender, age, or creed, you are here today because in your veins run rivers of commitment and thirst for academic excellence. Each of you had to find a will bigger than you, strength bigger than you, to hold on sometimes to that dimming torch during windy and defiant moments. But let there be no doubt that besides your intellect and academic achievement, you are here today to honor those who never stopped walking beside you, regardless of how bumpy or unpredictable the road before you was. Because honor is not just about receiving it, but it's also something that you share. To all single mothers out there, your presence here honors that child or children who wonder, why does my mom seem sleepy and tired all the time? Why does she have so many books on the kitchen table? Today, you're honoring also that grandmother and grandfather who made it possible for you to study an extra hour in the library. You have exposed your family to a heritage of excellence. To all handicapped students, your presence here honors those individuals who became part of your lives ever since you arrived to this campus, and their genuine concern, care, and commitment, not to their goals, but to yours, They leveled the learning field so that your academic experience was as rich and as gratifying as the next students. Every student that steps on the soil of this campus receives a heritage of excellence. Students who already have a family and came back to CSUN to finish their bachelor's degree or their graduate degree, your presence here today honors the time you were absent from that little league baseball game, or absent from a family gathering, or absent from missing that age stage in that moment that your children experienced, but you were not there because you were focused on succeeding in school, in college. Your presence honors your spouse or partner who held the family together while you were dreaming to become a matador. They are now part of that heritage of excellence. In the California State University system, there are more students without immigration status receiving a degree this year at CSUN than in any other CSU campus. Mexican, Korean, Salvadorian, Honduran, Guatemalan, Armenian, Colombian, Venezuelan, Turkish, and from all other countries that your parents brought you from, your presence here honors the sacrifice and efforts of your parents' journey, so that their impossibilities became your possibilities. To all the dreamers here today, to all the DACA immigrants, today you honor the victory over the uncertainty, the impotence, and the social challenges that have held your hand while you're trying to become a great student. Being the youngest of 11 children from an immigrant Mexican family, and the only one with interest to go to college, my mother made sure to clean 1 or 2 extra houses per week. And my father made sure to pick 5 or 10 extra boxes of strawberries to make sure I could be here with you today. So I stand here before today to honor every parent, alive or dead. Parents that taught us resiliency, perseverance, and that fed our hunger to conquer any and every of our goals, regardless of what stood between us and those dreams. They didn't know it, but through their actions, their gift to us was a heritage of excellence. On a clear, sunny day, no matter where you stand in the San Fernando Valley, if you look around, as far as your eyes will allow you, you will find yourself surrounded by mountains. We're in the valley, mountains everywhere. The Santa Susana Mountains to the northwest, the Simi Hills to the west, the Santa Monica Mountains and the Chalk Hills to the south, the Verdugo Mountains to the east, and the San Gabriel Mountains to the northeast. But year after year, students who graduate, like me, from Cal State Northridge, they're not intimidated to conquer whatever is beyond those mountains. Because our bravery, our valor, does not quiver on the challenges waiting for us on the north and the south, on the east or the west. We have conquered all directions because we have learned in this school that our greatest strength comes from an invisible direction, within. And within us lives excellence. Your history, the history of this campus, is proof of it. When anybody asks you, so what university do you go to? Where do you get your college degree? You tell them that you come from a university family that rose from crumbling buildings after an earthquake. That you come from a university family with seeds that, if given a chance, they can grow through concrete. That you come from a university family that embraces diversity and justice. A university where every student in that family was no better than the other, that only their talents made them different. You tell them that you come from a university family with rivers in their veins. You tell them that you have gone beyond those mountains, regardless of the challenges, and that you will return to that same family because you cannot forget who taught you nothing less than to strive for a heritage of excellence. But most importantly, with your actions, show the world that you come from a university family that allows time to be your judge of your actions. And let me reassure you, time will bow his head with respect before you and your accomplishments. Just like a fighting bull will, with all his might and respect, bow his head with respect, because before him stands a great matador. That, my fellow students, is achieved only through the thirst of heritage, of excellence. Today you will receive it. Take it. You've earned it. It's yours. I'm honored to call you brothers and sisters of this university. May God bless you. Dios los bendiga. Vivan los matadores.
Julio Cesar, thank you for your inspiring words and your inspiration to our students and to all of us, frankly, here this evening. I hope that you will accept this momentum from CSUN to remind you of this beautiful evening at Honors Convocation for 2017. Thank you so much.
This marks the 35th year during which we have assembled to honor CSUN's heritage of excellence as reflected through the accomplishments of our students. Of the approximate 11,000 students graduating this year, about 2,000 students received an invitation to this special honors convocation in recognition of their superior scholastic and personal achievement. Of these, 6 are distinguished further by earning special awards. This evening, we will recognize 1 outstanding graduate student, 4 outstanding graduating seniors, and the Wolfson Scholar. These awards have been sponsored through the CSUN Foundation, the Alumni Association, and the private donations. Each recipient will receive a cash award of $1,000.
The outstanding graduate student will now be recognized. This award is presented to a graduate student who has demonstrated academic excellence and produced a high-quality thesis project. This year's Outstanding Graduate Award, sponsored by the Nathan O. Friedman Memorial Fund, is presented to Maria Akopian. Maria has a keen interest in the challenges facing our life on Earth, which has fueled her interest and desire to become a research biologist to help shape solutions for environmental change and climate challenges. As one professor pronounced, "I am sure that we are seeing the emergence of a leader in our field." Maria has held numerous roles on campus. She is a founding member of the Graduate Student Leadership Council and also participates in Girls in Science and Technology Club, an after-school enrichment program designed to expose 8th grade girls to careers in the science and math fields. She is a teaching assistant in the biology department and has been active in graduate research while at CSUN. Maria has earned a 4.0 GPA while pursuing her master's degree in biology and credits her remarkable success to the support and guidance she has received from CSUN faculty. Maria has been invited to present at the Southwestern Herpetologist Society meeting and has a manuscript currently in revision exploring the male and female courtship signals in red-eyed tree frogs. Maria has been accepted into the doctoral program in the Department of Ecology and Evolutionary Biology at Cornell University. Her passion to both research and teach has shaped her career goal of continuing to work in the field of higher education. She hopes her passion will create a ripple effect of educating individuals and emphasizing the significance of biological knowledge that is critical to our lives and to our planet. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Maria Akopian.
The Outstanding Graduating Senior Awards are presented to 4 students who have demonstrated academic excellence, made significant contributions to the campus and community, and have demonstrated exceptional achievements or overcome extraordinary life circumstances. Selection of just 4 students from the many applicants for this award was extremely difficult. Before announcing this year's Outstanding Graduating Seniors, let us acknowledge the other student finalists for this award. Finalists, please stand as I read your name. Jovine Graywall. Hideye Hugakyan from Psychology Honors. Sher Toledano, Nutrition and Dietetics, and Joshua Forbes, CTVA with emphasis in film. Please join me in applauding the accomplishments of these finalists for the Outstanding Graduating Senior Award.
The first Outstanding Graduate Senior Award, sponsored by the CSUN Foundation, is presented to Braulio Diaz. Braulio is a first-generation college student receiving his Bachelor's of Science degree in computer engineering and describes himself as a proud matador. Braulio became involved at CSUN during his freshman year. As a university ambassador, he gave tours of the university in both English and Spanish, which provided him the perfect opportunity to express his love for the campus. He was selected to serve as the student housing resident assistant for 3 years, and then promoted in his 4th year to serve as the community center manager. Braulio was nominated for Resident Assistant of the Year 2 years in a row by the CSUN housing staff. As his nominator wrote, Braulio is an unafraid dreamer and uses his story to motivate and empower his peers and his community. Braulio was elected by his peers to represent the College of Engineering and Computer Science as a senator with the Associated Students, the official seat of student governance for our campus. Braulio also represented CSUN at the Hispanic Association of College and Universities National Conference in Denver, Colorado. As one nominator shared, Braulio has been a dynamic leader at CSUN. In each role, he has brought consistency, a tremendous work ethic, exemplary character, and memorable energy. Braulio has worked on a dynamic senior project with Professor Mailer, developing an autonomous unmanned aerial vehicle. His dream is to work on projects related to spacecraft and the advancement of humanity. As the eldest of his siblings, he tries to serve as a positive example and has demonstrated through hard work, dedication, and determination that anything is possible. Bravo, Braulio. Once a matador, always a matador.
The next Outstanding Graduating Senior Award, also sponsored by the CSUN Foundation, is presented to Kimberly Madwani. Kimberly was the recipient of a CSUN Presidential Scholarship and is graduating with a degree in biochemistry. Professor Jim Med said that Kimberly personifies the ideal CSUN student, a hardworking, intelligent, and confident individual with perseverance and a great passion for learning and community service. She will make CSUN shine wherever she goes. Her research has not only been published, but also awarded. In the summer of 2015, she was selected a Leadership Alliance Howard Hughes Medical Institute Scholar, which sponsored her research at the University of Miami. In 2016, she was selected as an Amgen Scholar and conducted research at the University of California, San Francisco. She has presented her research at the American Society of Biochemistry and Molecular Biology and at the Society for the Advancement of Chicanos, Hispanics, and Native Americans in Science. Kimberly believes in paying it forward. She reestablished the Chemistry and Biochemistry Club at CSUN. As president, she worked with local elementary, middle, and high school students to educate, excite, and encourage their pursuit of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, which is better known as STEM, regardless of their background and/or socioeconomic status. She served in a leadership position for the CSUN Women in Science Club and represented the students from her college as a senator with the Associated Students. With abundant opportunities and the increasingly diverse environment that CSUN offered, Kimberly said she was able to find her niche and flourish as an individual and as a scientist. To that end, she will be eternally grateful to CSUN. Kimberly plans to get her doctorate in neuroscience genetics and has already been accepted into 2 outstanding PhD programs, providing her with 5 years of funded support. She's decided to attend the University of Wisconsin-Madison in the fall. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Kimberly Madwani.
The next Outstanding Graduate Senior Award, sponsored by the Karen, Leon, and Rita Goldstein Salter Memorial Fund, is presented to Sunshine Williams. Sunshine Williams strives for excellence, graduating with a degree in creative writing and having earned an A in every course she has taken at CSUN. Professor Higgs wrote, "Sunshine is the student that you hope to see enrolled in your class because not only will she raise the bar for excellence individually, she also makes her classmates stronger too. She is engaged, serious, thoughtful, creative, critical, curious, passionate, and in all ways exceptional." Professor Poussin said that, "In nearly 2 decades of teaching, I have met exceedingly few students with the drive, energy, and passion of Sunny Williams." Sunny commits to each class and to each of her short stories in the same manner in which she commits to life, fully and fiercely. Outside of class, Sunny impresses in equal measure. As president of the Northridge Creative Writing Circle, she developed successful programs, increased the membership, and rehabilitated the leadership board. She served as the lead editor for the scholarly journal Captured, is an associate student senator for the College of Humanities, and maintained memberships in several academic honor societies. Her essays and stories are award-winning, including one about a Harry Potter character entitled Draco Malfoy is really a sweetheart. Meanwhile, Sunshine's path to CSUN wasn't always easy. Her name evokes her extreme positive spirit. Sunshine says the amazing CSUN campus and surrounded by incredible professors and bright youth helped her discover her true life path. Sunshine has been accepted into graduate school and aspires to get her PhD in English and return to CSUN to be a professor. She wants to make the kind of difference in the lives of students that her professors have made in her. Ladies and gentlemen, Sunshine Williams.
The final student recognized as an outstanding graduating senior, also sponsored by the Karen, Leon, and Rita Goldstein Salter Memorial Fund, is presented to Roxette Zepeda. Roxette Zepeda describes herself as an educated Mexican woman who will always remember CSUN. Roxette entered CSUN as a freshman through the Educational Opportunity Program for high potential students. She maintained a very high grade point average, an impressive record of service to her campus and community, and has presented her research at international conferences. Next week, she is receiving her degree in public health from the College of Health and Human Development. She is well on her way to accomplishing her future goals of becoming a nurse and a medical field researcher. Her faculty mentor wrote, "I strongly believe that Roxette's work ethic, strong sense of compassion for others, and strong intellect will make her an amazing nurse researcher who will introduce new research questions and methods into the field of advocacy for infants in neonatal units. She has the skills, dedication, and know-how to become a significant researcher." Her contributions back to the community are an inspiration to us all. Currently, Roxette is volunteering at Northridge Hospital Medical Center. She has already completed over 100 volunteer hours at Children's Hospital Los Angeles, working with critically ill infants, and over 300 volunteer hours at Glendale Adventist Medical Center. On campus, she served as a peer mentor to over 100 students in the Educational Opportunity Program, and also as president of the Build Poder Research Program. She also coordinated the Raza Youth Conference that brought high school students from underrepresented communities and their parents to CSUN for a day. Roxette is the first in her family to graduate from high school and now college. She has been accepted into the graduate MS PhD program in nursing at UCLA and will begin there in the fall, but says she will always love and remember CSUN. Ladies and gentlemen, Roxette Zepeda.
The final award presented this evening will be to the university's Wolfson Scholar, which is the highest academic award bestowed upon an undergraduate at CSUN. The Wolfson Scholar Award is presented each year in the memory of the university's first vice president, Dr. Leo Wolfson, and given to the seniors selected as the most outstanding scholar in the graduating class. Not only must the student have an exceptional academic record, but they must have made significant contributions to California State University Northridge or to the community through co-curricular and extracurricular activities. Before announcing this year's Wolfson Scholar, I want to acknowledge the other finalists for the award. These students are outstanding scholars who have contributed extensively to the communities in which they serve, work, and study. Will each finalist, if present, please stand when I read your name? From the Mike Curb College of Arts, Media, and Communication, Hannah Pomeranz. From the David Nazarian College of Business and Economics, Jovine Grewal. From the College of Engineering and Computer Science, Eric Figueroa. From the College of Humanities, Selena Fernandez Ayala. From the College of Health and Human Development, Alexis Maglalang. And from the College of Science and Mathematics, Tanya Gazarian. Please join me in recognizing the accomplishments of these Wolfson Scholar finalists.
This year, the recipient of the university's Wolfson Scholar Award is Angelina Finau from the College of Social and Behavioral Sciences. Proud to be the first in her family to graduate from college, Angelina Finau successfully completed her degree in political science in 4 years with an impressive 3.9 GPA. This extraordinary student's long list of impressive academic and professional achievements is a testament to her dedication and passion for learning and serving. In addition to working in CSUN's Office of Student Success and Innovations, Angelina was busy excelling academically. In fact, she made the Dean's List every semester, is a university scholar, and has served as a student representative for the Millennium Momentum Foundation Leadership Development Institute. As a student researcher at the CSUN Water Grant, she helped to formulate a plan to study water conservation habits of Los Angeles renters. Faculty describe Angelina's passion to work in service of traditionally underserved groups. She believes that all big changes start with something small. Perhaps this inspired her to create an award-winning short film about the stigma surrounding mental illness. Angelina takes pride serving her community by organizing events and meetings to inform young people about the benefits and importance of attending college. She also volunteers as a mentor at James Monroe High School and at New Horizons, a nonprofit dedicated to serving and advocating for individuals with special needs. In Angelina's words, someone like me, whose family made its way in this country by hard labor, was not only able to attend college, but also found a community of friends, faculty, and staff who actually believe in me. Once more, may I present to you our 2017 CSUN Wolfson Scholar, Angelina Finau.
All of the students being honored here this evening represent the finest members of this year's graduating class. They have excelled and distinguished themselves during their tenure here at CSUN and are being recognized this evening for their scholastic and personal achievement. Students distinguished for scholastic achievement are graduate students with a cumulative grade point average of 3.885 or better, and graduating seniors with a cumulative grade point average of 3.5 or better through fall 2016. Students recognized for their personal achievement have maintained at least a 3.0 cumulative grade point average while demonstrating excellence of an artistic, creative, or athletic nature, or they have displayed outstanding leadership skills and or completed extensive community service work. And now, at this 35th annual honors convocation, we celebrate our heritage of excellence in you, members of the graduating class of 2017 who have earned honors recognition. In acknowledgement of your accomplishment, the university will now invest you with a commemorative medallion to symbolize your commitment to high academic success and co-curricular achievements. We ask that you follow the direction of the ceremony marshals and staff as you make your way up to the front of the stage, where our college deans and associate deans will congratulate and invest you with your honors medallion. Out of respect of all the honorees, students must return to their seat after receiving the medallion and remain seated until all recipients have been honored. Following the conclusion of the ceremony, we will all celebrate together at the grand reception being held in your honor at the Matador Square and University Student Union Plaza.
On the west side of the stage, we will begin by investing students from the College of Humanities, and on the east side, students from the College of Science and Mathematics.
And at the center, students from the College of Health and Human Development.
They're ready.
There we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, once more, President Harrison.
Okay. I want to thank all of you who have remained with us. But I also want to recognize all of our students and graduates who we have honored this evening with our last round of applause. So congratulations to you all. I want to thank all of our university departments and programs, the Alumni Association, the Foundation, our memorial funds, employers, and other friends of the university who were the source of the student achievement funds that we presented. We thank them. I also want to give a special shout out to the parents, the spouses, partners, significant others, and families who have supported our students in attaining this excellence. So let us thank our families. Thank you. Thank our Office of Student Involvement and Development, Professor Matt Harris and the Jazz A Band, who've helped put on this incredible ceremony. And now I ask all of you who are remaining to please stand. Our students, faculty, staff, and alumnus of CSUN to rise for our university alma mater, Hail to the Matadors, under the musical direction of Professor Matt Harris and the Jazz A Band and performed by Christine Yoga. You'll find the words to our alma mater in the back of your program, and we encourage you to sing along. After the alma mater, our ceremony staff will lead those of you who are remaining to the grand reception, which is just to my left or to your right at the Matador statue in the University Student Union. Thank you all for sharing this important occasion with us, and I particularly want to encourage all of our graduating students to wear your medallions proudly at our commencement ceremonies over the next week. May you have a wonderful and safe evening. Thank you.